Alright, so Starfire is definitely back. The buffs to it and the new artifact mods have my baby finally feeling very good in pretty much all content so far. And so today what we're going to do is go over an updated guide with the brand new armor stats and some newer weapons that can take really good advantage of this exotic. Now before we get into the build, if you guys do enjoy the content, a like and sub would be greatly appreciated. It helps out the channel a lot. Plus, come join me on Twitch where we're live pretty much every day, goofing off, having a good time. I would love for you guys to come hang out with us. Thank you. So, with the launch of Edge of Fate, Starfire got a slight change and buff to its grenade regeneration. Now, it initially was giving us 2.5% grenade energy on empowered weapon damage, which now got buffed up to 5%, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, and it's nowhere near the 20% we had so long ago. Having that 5% alongside 100 grenade stat and Ember of Benevolence has some crazy good grenade uptime. But, okay, that is not the only change we got. This is kind of the insane one in my opinion. Starfire is now also considering Radiant part of empowered weapon damage, which I think is so good for this build. It allows us to stop using just empowering rifts, and you can now use things like Phoenix Dive and the brand new seasonal mod that allows us to grant Radiant from precision hits, basically giving you infinite uptime on the grenade regen as long as you're just shooting things. It's so good. So, speaking of grenade stat, with the Edge of Fate, we saw a massive change in how armor stats work, making it more important to build into certain stats to get the best potential out of our builds, which I think's great. Now for this build, we're going to be wanting to get 200 grenade stat first and foremost, and why is that? Well, because at first, 100 grenade stat value, we're looking at plus 190% grenade ability regen and a 36-second cooldown for fusion grenades. And with the 200 grenade stat, you'll get a max grenade damage buff of 65% in PvE. Yes, you heard that right. A 65% grenade damage buff. Now, this damage buff increases with every single stat point, so don't worry if you aren't exactly at 200, like me myself. With font mods, I'm basically at 194. You'll still be getting a pretty hefty damage buff anyway, so as high as you can get, the better. That's really it. And if not 200, don't worry about it. And also shout to font mods, which can also help you get up to 50 grenade stat as well with 3 copies, with just needing armor charges for it to work. Now the other 2 stats I'm recommending with this build are going to be 100 weapon stat for the 10% reload and handling buff and a 15% increased damage versus minors and majors, and then everything else you can into around 70ish class stat to give it better cooldown since we'll be spamming it pretty often. Now I will say if you wanted to, you can forego the class and try to build into as much weapon stat so you can have as much heavy and special damage buff against bosses, but in terms of just all-around flexibility with this build, I feel like getting to at least 70 class provides the most benefit in ability uptime. Now for the subclass portion of the build, we're going to be using, of course, Well of Radiance as our super, with Phoenix Dive instead of Empowering Rift, which I'll go over why in a little bit, Celestial Fire Melee for some added range, and Fusion Grenades, of course, with the aspects Touch of Flame for the double Fusion Nade explosions, and Hellion, so when we use our Phoenix Dive, we can give us a Solar Buddy to also help us spam Apply Scorch for more ignitions, which is just free damage. Now for the fragments, we're going to be using Ember of Ashes to get increased Scorch stacks from all sources, a necessity in pretty much every solar build ever, feels like. Ember of Cure to give us Cure when we get kills with our grenades. Ember of Singeing, so when we scorch enemies, we get a 400% class ability recharge buff. And then lastly, added Ember of Benevolence, which gives all of our abilities a 400% ability recharge buff when we give buffs to our allies. So basically what you do then is you use your class ability and your allies to give yourself a massive grenade, melee, and class ability regen buff to stack on top of the brand new grenade stat and Starfire. And then when your Hellion applies constant scorch, you can then refresh your class ability even when Benevolence is down, or you don't have any adds to kill with your grenades to get it back. So this kind of allows you to kind of always fund and loop into constant ability uptime, but there's more that we're going to add to this that's going to make it even better as well. And that will take us to the artifact mod, where we're going to be taking some pretty good solar focused mods to buff the build even better. Now first we're taking Fever and Chill, so rapid solar precision hits grant us Radiant, already sounds great there. Elemental Benevolence, where granting allies an elemental buff gives us class ability energy. Cauterized Darkness, where stasis or strand debuffed non-boss enemies take more damage from all solar damage sources. Radiant Shrapnel, where dealing sustained weapon damage while radiant or defeating scorched combatants with a weapon causes the target to release solar projectiles that damage and scorch on impact. And lastly, Shield Crush, probably the most broken artifact mod for this build. While you're amplified or radiant, your grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I don't know about you guys. Those sound pretty good for this build. Now, the rest, I will say you can pick whatever you want. Obviously, there's like 6 or 7 more options to pick there. I just think the necessities for this build are definitely going to be Fever and Chill, Radiant, Shrapnel, and definitely Shield Crush. Now, switching over to weapons here, the number one option, of course, is going to be Wither Horde, since it can apply the best constant damage over time from a special. But we actually do have a new challenger that's surprisingly almost as good, and that is the Area Denial Frames, and specifically Lost Signal at that, since you can put auto-loading on it and either One For All or Vorpal, and it's craftable. Great weapon, awesome, insane use for this build. I really enjoy using it because it can free up my exotic slot to use something like Sunshot, which I highly recommend, especially with the solar focus mods this season. But if you still wanted to use Wither Horde, you can really use any solar precision weapon in the energy slot. I think that's definitely what you're going to do, so you can take advantage of that Radiant mod this season. So yeah, whatever solar primer you love that you can hit crits with, that is the go-to. Now for heavy, I am recommending the most Hesitant Vengeance with Envious Arsenal and Bait and Switch, since it synergizes so well with this build, taking full advantage of its origin trait, allowing you to constantly load 2 shots in the mag after you use your well. Now, I will say you can pretty much use whatever heavy you want with this build. That's totally up to you. I just recommend that one because it synergizes so well. It's a very, very good weapon. Insanely strong. So if you have it, use it. Now, on to the armor mods for the build. So for the helmet, we're going to be using double Ashes to Assets and a Solar Siphon mod. On the gloves, double Grenade Font for a plus 40 grenade stat when we have armor charges. And on the chest, 2 Solar Ammo Generation mods and a Stasis one. On the boots, for Ad Clear focus setup, Innervation, Better Already, and Solar Scav. And then for boss / just pure damage setup, just rock 3 Solar Surges in my opinion. And lastly, on the class item, Bomber, Time Dilation, and Powerful Attraction. So yeah, Starfire is really back. I mean, it loops grenade uptime so well again, even without using a Rift. I mean, I'm personally really enjoying using it with Phoenix Dive to keep me moving around instead of just sitting in one spot. Also, just want to note this, keep an eye out for weapons with the brand new perk Burning Ambition. It's a new scorching perk that if used against already scorched enemies can help cause super fast ignitions, which is really fun. But yeah, that'll probably do it for me here. I'll probably leave a little extra gameplay showcasing the build and more action. I did also just want to take a second to ask y'all to come hang out with me on Twitch again. We've been having a great time the past couple days over here, and I'd love for you guys to come hang out with us and just have a good time. I think it'd be awesome. Thank you guys for all the support. Seriously, I appreciate it. Y'all are great. I always love seeing people that interact with the content, even after I take long breaks. So thank you guys so much. See you guys in the next one. Peace.